Today, though, we have shown people that we won't tolerate bullying and abuse. We have shown people that we won't tolerate oppressive language, and that there is a community at the university for those who feel as though they must remain silent. For that, again, I thank those who came out today, who were silent today, and who wore green today. I'll now hand things over to Laurie Blakeman.
Hi everybody, and thanks very, very much for participating this day. My name's Laurie Blakeman. I'm the MLA for the fabulous constituency of Edmonton Centre, which is downtown Edmonton. Some of you live there, I can see. I have a whole bunch of other titles that really don't matter. But I've been a social activist for a long, long time, and I was thinking about that whole issue of silence, and I've got to say silence is crazy making. And I know that most of the people in this room have had times in their life when they thought, I am completely bonkers, like I just don't fit in with anybody around me. The stuff that I'm interested in or that I'm not interested, just doesn't, what is wrong with me that I feel crazy because nobody else seems to think the same way. And a big part of that is silence. You know, for a long time I thought I was the only feminist in Alberta. And then I thought, well, I was the only person in Alberta working on violence against women issues, the only one. And I thought I was the only, you know, queer supportive person in Alberta. And I'm not, right? No, I'm none of those things. But until you talk with other people, you don't know how many other people are around. Let me tell you two stories. We're going into a provincial election. So I've been door knocking recently, and it's really interesting. You say, oh, thank you very much for agreeing to vote for me. Will you take a lawn sign? And people go, oh, no, I couldn't. You know, my neighbors. You think, okay. And then I go to the next door, and they say, yeah, we're going to vote for you, Laurie. And I say, would you take a lawn sign? Oh, no, my neighbors. Okay, and then I go to the next one, and they say, yeah, we're going to vote Liberal. Absolutely, Laurie. And I say, okay, would you like to take a lawn sign? No, and my neighbors are all, I'm thinking, if you people just talk to each other, you would have a much friendlier community. But there, everybody was believing they were the only Liberal or the only Laurie supporter on the block, and they weren't. So keeping silent is crazy making. And I've had friends who committed suicide because they just thought they were the only one with that problem, the only one without that problem, the only person who was queer, the list just goes on forever. So being able to break the silence and to stand in solidarity with people is really, really important. The second story I want to tell you is, you guys know who the Imperial Sovereign Court of the Wild Rose is?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's essentially the drag king organization here in Edmonton, the court. And every year I bring the court into the Legislative Assembly of Alberta and I formally introduce them. It is the only assembly in the country where they come in full regalia, including the crowns, and are introduced in the assembly. And I do this deliberately because I want my colleagues, every flippin' one of them, to one, have to applaud and welcome the court into the Legislative Assembly of Alberta, but I also want them to understand that these are human beings and they have families and friends and they participate in stuff, and oh my God, they raise money. Well, you really want to talk to my conservative colleagues on the other side, you talk money. Well, as you guys know, the court raises serious money. And they support groups in Edmonton with the money that they raise. So yesterday was my day to introduce the court to the Legislative Assembly in Alberta. And I've done it often enough now that as they started to come into the building, they were meeting people in the hallway who were going, oh my God, you're Laurie's drag queens. It's that day. Hey, you guys, it's the drag queen day. And I thought, how good is that? Like it's like cake day, right? They look forward to it because there's these really cool people there. And I've done it very deliberately, both to show support for the court, but also to make sure that my colleagues understand that these are Albertans too. And that's also about breaking the silence. And if you're in a position that you can do something like that, you should do something like that. I would even go further and say you have a responsibility to do that. So thank you very much for participating. I know there was a group over there that were hanging on to their silence until the very last moment. Thank you for that. And somebody else, I threw them off their game and introduced myself, and they gave me their name and then realized they'd broken their silence, so sorry about that. But you know, you feel like you're a small group sometimes, but you're not. You are not. You are not the only ones that feel this way. You are not the only ones that feel this way. And if you talk about it and talk about how you feel, and even we wear symbols. We have the flag up. We wear green today, which is a signal to other people that there's like-minded folks around, and you can kind of, you know, see them in the hallways and stuff, and that's why we do that. But it is support, and it is talking about it. And I'll tell you, it's a whole bunch better today than it was when I was walking around in this campus, but it could be a whole bunch better too. So thank you very much for coming. Thank you for inviting me to come and speak to you. I'm really proud of you guys for hanging in there and doing that work. And if I can just urge you to be just the teeniest bit more radical, because we need more radicals here in Alberta. We need more ass kickers. We need more people that are going to shout out. I probably shouldn't say stuff like that. Now you've got it on tape. But no, think about that, because we change the world, we change public policy in a whole bunch of different ways, and every way is legitimate. I will never let anyone say, oh, you know, you shouldn't do those big marches, you shouldn't do Occupy Edmonton. That's not appropriate. Yes, it is. Every single action that you take is appropriate when you are trying to make society better and you're trying to change public policy. Whether it's participating in a march, or doing up a sign to carry, or participating in an online petition, or coming to a group gathering like this, it's all legitimate. And that is how we change public policy, when a whole bunch of different people are working on it from different places. So thank you for working on it from your place. Appreciate it.